give you $1 million right now, or would you prefer I give you $1, which would double for 30 days? What would you prefer? The $1 million. Okay. See? Well, if I would tell you that after a month, that dollar turns into $1 billion. Okay? Because it's going to be doubling in size. It starts really, really slow, and then it hits that curve, and then it just skyrockets. So that's what's happening with exponential. We're not seeing that because it's going so quick. What you have now in your hands has more computing power than all of NASA did in 1969. And you have it in your pockets. Okay? So that is allowing for a lot of applications to just blossom. And you have to take advantage of it. Okay? It is important. Another characteristic is, of course, it is digital. Everything is being digitized to obviously be turning into one and zeros. Of about the 3.5 trillion with the pictures taken since 1838, about 10% alone were taken in 2013. Okay, that's because, again, of the devices. So you can see, for example, Instagram, there are people that argue that it's what finally killed Kodak, for example. So you're starting to see how everything is being digitized, and you've got to take advantage of it, especially because your younger customers, they're digital already. Okay, they're called digital natives. They don't have to adopt, they're expecting it. So that's a market that you've got, if you want to reach them, you've got to be digital. Another characteristic of the digital age is the idea, the possibility to combine. Okay? Has anybody heard of the Internet of Things? Raise your hands. Okay? What about big data? There's a lot of things, a lot of data being generated, and because of the computing power, then we're going to start to see patterns where we did not know they existed. Okay? And that's going to affect you too. So it's got that characteristic to combine. You are exposed to more information, therefore you're going to be a little bit more knowledgeable on specific topics, and then you're going to make better decisions. So it's having huge implications. And finally, it's disruptive. Okay? It's disrupting everything. Internet 1.0 brought the WWW, the World Wide Web, and with it, it changed how we access information. Internet 2.0 brought us social media and e-commerce, and with it, it changed how we shop, and it changed how we communicate. Internet 3.0 is in a head-on collision to disrupt 4 of the most regulated industries in this country: finance, education, healthcare, and transportation. Okay? It's disrupting everything, and it will come and disrupt you. It doesn't matter if you're rural, if you're ag, if you're urban, it doesn't matter. It's coming. Okay? So with that in mind, now let me talk to you of online presence components. Those are the 4 characteristics of why I'm pretty much making the sale of why social media is so important. Okay? So now we've got online presence. Of course, website. How many of you have a website for your business? Okay? Website, and then the e-commerce component to it is very important. If you do not have a presence in this digital world, you're missing out. And do not assume that, oh, I don't need it, right? I mean, I'm just going to do this here, this, that. I don't need an online presence. You need it. So that's one of the components. It is the most important one. Some other scholars may disagree, but then around it, you've got these other components. And notice that this one is darker and larger for a reason. It's because you have to have a website. It should be the anchor of your online presence. Why? Because let me break it to you, you don't own your Facebook page. If for whatever reason you're shut down, and it is the only beacon you have in this digital world, you're not going to like it. Okay? So aside from the website and e-commerce, we have, of course, cloud applications, which is really just something you can do in the cloud, and the cloud is defined as really, it's an analogy to the internet in some form or fashion. All of you have already been using a cloud application for at least 10 years. And that means you can log in and retrieve your emails from wherever you are. That's a cloud application. It's just, they called it that way, many people get...
We don't want to think of it.
Sorry? Sorry, that's fine. So you've got cloud applications. There are studies that show that if you rely on cloud applications as a startup business, you can save upwards of $16,000 that first critical year. Okay? So that's one of the components. Another one is mobile optimization. Okay? Mostly everybody now has a phone. But yet, some websites are not mobile friendly. And it is very frustrating when you go as a customer to a website and you've got to pan in and pan out and kind of figure out what it is you're tapping. Okay? That's very, very important. Another thing that's very important is on your social media part or on your website, make sure your hours of operation are accurate and your address is accurate, because more than likely people will find you through their phone, will navigate to your location through their phone. If your address is wrong, they're not going to like it. Okay? So that's another one of the components. And then, of course, the most popular one you see, social media, you hear about all the time, and the one Mr. Ray asked me to focus on today. I just had to provide you the forest of why social media is important, but it's not the only piece that you've got to be thinking about when you're talking about this digital age, this online presence. Technical terms, so whenever you go out and talk to somebody, you kind of talk the same language. Okay? Social media. What is social media? Everybody uses it. Everybody talks about it. But when I ask people to define it, they go, huh? So any takers, there's no wrong answers. What's social media?
Communication through digital.
Communication through digital. Yes, you hit two of the keywords. Anybody else?
Interpersonal networking.
Interpersonal networking. That's the first time I hear that and I like it. Let me make myself a mental note about that. Okay, social media. It is websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. Notice I like you so much that I put in red the key words. Enables users create and share content. Social media is all about sharing content. And I always hear from people, oh, I don't want to be on Facebook or on Twitter. I don't want to know what my neighbor had for breakfast. And I keep hearing that, and I'm just so intrigued because I've been listening to that argument for about 5 years now. And it's more than that. Of course, unfortunately, you're going to have somebody that's going to post that, but it's not about that. Okay? So the key thing is it will enable you to create and share content. So if you have your marketing and your promotion hat, that is a big, big tool. Okay? Digital disruption argues that basically everybody can test, refine, and market anything. It's not like back in the days where you would have to have millions of dollars in an R&D department to do that. Now you can do it with your own little businesses. That's what digital platforms allow you to do, and that's part of that disruption I was talking to you about. Okay? Kodak invented the digital camera in 1976. Yet the engineer said, I don't see people looking and taking pictures on a screen. And now, look at where we are. So please, just be open enough to use it for that purpose. So that's the definition. It enables users and create and share content. Remember those keywords as we discuss more in depth social media. So what are the characteristics of social media? There are two main characteristics I want you to remember. There are many others, but these are the two I've seen over time be the more effective in that it helps people understand the concept. It's two-way communication and it's real time. I'm going to explain more detail shortly. Two-way. What do I mean with that? Well, email could be two-way, and that's only if the people you're emailing is right there and responding immediately. That kind of can be assumed it's a two-way, but it's not usually the case. And what we have is websites have been around for so long that mistakenly we think that social media behaves and will deliver the same as a website. And that's the number one mistake I see time and time again from businesses and local government. It's not the case. The website, it is called a static, one-way information, and it is that's our point of reference. So we kind of go, something new comes up in our mind automatically, oh, what's the most closest thing we have to that one? And then we generalize, and that's a big mistake, because social media is not a website. It is a two-way communication street, not a one-way. What do I mean with that? Well, here you can see we had a training, actually here in Raymond, I think, back in the fall, and almost immediately we put that, and then an agent said, thank you so much, this is awesome, you did a great job, blah, 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 blah. And so we responded, and we said, yeah, you're welcome, you know, put to practice what you learned. That's real time. A website very rarely allows you to do that, unless you open the chat box, and we go here on the side, and so. But the key point is that it will allow you to get almost instant feedback on a product. Tomatoes, whatever it is you're experiencing with and playing with, you can get almost instant feedback from your customers if you're listening. There's a difference between listening and hearing, right? My wife tells me that all the time. So here you can see that social media is a platform that will allow you to engage, which you did not have that 20 years ago, in real time, which is the next characteristic. What does that mean? This gentleman here did not know it, but he was tweeting live the raid on Osama bin Laden. Okay? He gained millions of followers. People were thinking, oh, he's a spy. He's in the, in that James Bond arena and stuff. And the guy was just there, happened to live close to the compound where Osama was living. And so he tweets out and says, helicopter hovering at 1 a.m. It's a rare event. And then you can see here, 7 minutes later, go away helicopter. And then 4 minutes later, a huge window shaking bang. That's as real time as you can get. Okay? And that is very powerful for your business to listen. You push something out and then you listen and then you fine tune, and then that circle is very important. You've got the platforms now at your disposal. You can use them. So that's an example of real time. And I have a zillion others, but I don't have time today, but you get the point. It is two-way and it is real time. Okay? That's the two things I want you to understand from social media. You can also control what you see and what you share. Many people think that anything in the cloud is public, and it's not. Unless, of course, you're hacked, but that's a different story. Okay? Those businesses make a living making sure your information is yours and yours to access, just like your email. Just because you have a Hotmail account doesn't mean everybody's reading your email. Okay? So you can control what you see and you can control what you share. Not everything is public. And the basic element, it just happens which environment it is in. It will be called something different. So you've got a post, which is what? Facebook, right? You've got a tweet, which is Twitter. And then you've got a pin, which is thank you. All those are the basic elements. They're the same way. They behave the same way. They're just called different because of the platform. So here's what I tell small business owners, because I know your number one priority is to run your business, not to be social networking, right? But once you learn, or once you become comfortable with a particular platform, it makes it a lot easier to then use another platform and another platform. And that is important, and I'll explain why in a second. Okay? And then users include individuals and organizations. This is a pet peeve of mine. If you have a Facebook page, it's called a page, and the individual one is called a profile. Okay? It's just, you've got to be technically correct. Don't call your business page a profile or vice versa. Any questions up to this point before I get into a little bit more detail of social media networking? Okay. So these are the 4 that I'm going to talk about today. There are a bunch more, but these are the most popular ones in a way. And this one over here, it's the behemoth. It is huge. I think earlier, in August of last year, it set a record of 1 billion, as in a B, active users in 1 month. Not that, oh, I have my Facebook account and it's just sitting there, I have not checked it in 2 months. It's active users, people that check their account at least twice a day. It reached 1 billion in August of last year. So you can see why Mr. Zuckerberg smiles all the time, because with his ads, he charges, they're ridiculously cheap, right? But you can see why he does that, because he charges you 5 cents to run an ad or for every click or whatever, but you've got 1 billion people clicking, right, potentially, so you see why he's very wealthy. So Facebook, you can post images, status updates, and videos. You can engage with page likers or fans. So if somebody likes your page, it's considered a fan. And so they may get your posts as a business. Now, this applies to business and people. Facebook is not free. Okay? Why? Because the example I use is, if you have a friend on Facebook and you hear everybody else is talking about his post or her post and you didn't get it or you didn't see it, you immediately go, ooh, he or she unfriended. Okay, that's what it's going to be now. Ooh. Well, no. It's 10 out of 100 posts you may reach, see. People will see those posts. The other 90, you have to pay. Okay? So keep that in mind. I'm not going to go into detail because I'm assuming everybody, has access to Facebook. Twitter, the basic element is a tweet. It's a status update. It's limited characters and it is real time. My good old Bluebird is struggling. Of those 4, it's the one that's suffering the most. We don't know if it's going to be around, honestly, within 2 years. But still, it is very powerful. If you are into politics, you can follow certain accounts and it is hilarious. Because you get information even before the main news outlets get them. So you can get that and use it for your customers. Engage with them. Engage in a conversation with them. I never call the Delta 1-800 number anymore when I travel. I tweet. I tweet and I go on a rant. And I tweet again and I go on a rant. And they respond to me within 10 minutes. Wow, how many of you on average are on hold on the 1-800 number? Right? So it's another area that your customers can use to reach you. Don't think that, oh, I don't need that. Right? I know all my customers. They'll call me. But again, if you want to kind of reach out a little bit more, especially those younger generations, you've got to consider that. And here's the best thing is that, why do they respond in 10 minutes? Because it's open for everybody to see. They will see it took them 10 minutes to respond to me. The tweets have timestamps. Okay? Yet on the phone, it's me in the recording. And it's like, okay, I've got a board or whatever. So keep that in mind. It's real time. It's engaging. Then you've got Instagram. which is huge. You know, you can only post images and videos. It's popular among younger audiences. We're going to get into that shortly. But the key thing is, if your business, which it is, it's all about graphics, then Instagram is something you should definitely think about. Okay? And then you've got Pinterest, which is a basic image element is the pin, and it's very similar to Instagram. Pinterest, however, has a very powerful search tool. You can search and search and search and find very, very, very nice things. Instagram is not as good, or at least I'm not as good using it as Pinterest. Okay? So, I know that's a busy slide. It took me forever to make it, I know. But the key thing I tried to do with this slide is show you that not every social media reaches the same audience. That's why you've got to start with one. Okay? You become comfortable with it, and then you can use other ones. So, here's what I like to highlight from this very busy slide. Overall, U.S. adults. That's data from September of 2014. It's a little bit outdated, but still you can see that 71% of U.S. adults use Facebook. That's a lot. Okay, versus 23 Twitter, 26, 28, etc. Then you've got men and women. More women use Facebook. That's why I put that little check mark there beside women. Right? Slightly more men use Twitter. Slightly more women use Instagram, etc., etc. But look at Pinterest. So if you, for whatever reason, want to reach women, try Pinterest. Okay? Be a lot more strategic. Yes, sir?
Sir, your age demo starts at 30. Were you just trying to highlight a market that might be interested for us? Or, because I know those numbers are vastly different for a younger crowd. Yeah,
in fact, I didn't include 18 to 29 because they are all over the board. I just wanted to show a difference. But yes, that's a good point. And you cannot survey, well, you can survey kids, but it's very complicated. But under 18, it's Snapchat and other stuff that we're just now discovering, right? Because back in the day, everybody was on Facebook until Grandma appeared. Oh no, I'm out of Facebook. Right? So it's changing, because I don't know who said this. I didn't say it, so don't quote me on this, but pay attention where kids go, because parents will follow. And that's exactly what happens with social media or digital platforms. Pay attention where kids go, because parents will follow. Here on race, you can see the slight differences as well. But here's the kicker. Check out Pinterest in urban and rural. Wham! Pinterest has a higher percentage for rural users. So you can use this very busy slide and kind of say, okay, who is my market, or who do I want to reach? And then go ahead and be strategic about it. You don't have to jump all over the board to accomplish that. You can start one platform at a time, because remember, under the hood, they behave very similar. Okay? This was really interesting. So I went and did some, this is the Greenhouse Grower 2015 Media Use Survey. And look at how many of your colleagues use social media. It is the lowest of all the other marketing, whatever, reaching out. That tells me, yeah, you've got some early adopters there, but it's not saturated yet. So why not jump ahead of the crowd? If you have questions, ask. If you have grandkids, if they have the patience, they may explain it to you. If not, go to Google and just type in there, how do I, boom, or this or that, or Bing, or Yahoo, or whatever. When I go and give workshops, I try to empower them, and I, of course, give them my card, and I say, call me if you have any questions, but this is, I'm going to be really honest with you. You may put me out of a job within 5 years, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do if you call me. I'm going to pull up my browser, and I'm going to go, oh, here, you've got to do this, right? And I look like the expert. Well, you can do it yourselves, okay? It's just that you have that motivation to do it. The #1 term search on YouTube is how do I. I changed the filter from my refrigerator using YouTube. My wife was there all the time. Don't you break this, I'm not going to break it. The video did not break it, I'm not going to break it. Okay? But folks, that's where things are going. And look, you've got an opportunity. Less than half of your colleagues that were surveyed are using it. Remember how I started? Creativity and motivation. I can only push you so far, and then you've got to take it from there, but take advantage of it. It doesn't matter size, large or small. They're still there floating under that 50% mark, and they're very cool Instagram and Pinterest accounts you can follow and go see what they're doing. Because this opens the door to another whole thing, agritourism as well. That virtual tourism, okay? So, why use social media? At this point, I'm going to, again, zoom back out. For marketing and promotion, obviously, you can engage with your customers. You can promote. Kickstarter, which is a crowdfunding platform, just reached their 100,000 successfully funded project. 100,000. Yet the mean distance between a funder and a guy that requested the funds was 2,000 miles plus. What that tells you is that people will find you. Do not think that because you're in the middle of nowhere. No, it's not the case in the digital age. So you've got to use it for marketing and promotion. You've got to have that digital presence. Customer engagement and feedback, again, I'm going to emphasize what I've said throughout the presentation. It allows you to receive almost instant feedback from your customers. Back in the day, it would take months, years to do a survey, then hold on, it would come back, and then you would go, oh, we've got to adjust this 6 months later or a year later. Now you can really, literally do it overnight. And then finally, it's a great source of information from your peers. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Somebody may have already run into it. Go ahead and see what's out there. Network, social network with your peers to find out best practices. Okay? So diverse online presence is a must. I totally forgot track of time. Am I still okay, Rick, or?
5 to 10 minutes.
Cool. Okay. It'll be 2 minutes. So, diverse online presence is a must in the digital age. Start slow, but you've got to diversify. Don't put your eggs in one basket. There was this push in Germany to get local governments a Facebook presence, a Facebook page, or, civic engagement is another thing that I teach a lot, but it's huge. And then overnight, they realized they were violating the terms of agreement, and they shut them all down. The Germans were not happy. So that's why you've got to have a diverse presence. Provides a two-way communication and real-time interaction with customers, with peers. Okay? I get most of the articles that I like to read from Twitter. I rarely go to the news main websites anymore. It's a you will find your own little use of it. Okay? And of course, it provides you one-time information from peers. Again, I cannot emphasize that enough. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's somebody out there that's in the same industry that has done something, and you can go ahead and check it out. Okay? So unless there are any questions, thank you so much for your time.